Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land, DFS land. It's your buddy Chop Dong coming at you with another episode of Chop Talk, brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for everything DFS related, from tools to coaching to optimizers to content, everything covered, every major sport covered. DFSArmy.com. Use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, to save 10% when you become a VIP, which you want to do because prices are getting ready to go up and you want to lock in your price now. Follow the link in the comment section of the video. Like and subscribe to the video if you like the content that keeps coming out, and we'll keep producing it. What we're going to do today is show you the world's fastest slate breakdown. We're going to pound the early only. I haven't looked at the thing yet. I want you to grab a pen, I want you to grab some paper, and I want you to write this stuff down because this is how you're going to build winning lineups today. First thing I do is I come down in here to the starting matchups page. Actually, I go one place before that. I do go to the MLB First Look article by Notorious on Roto Grinders. Give them your email address. It triggers this. Is not a premium article. It's free, but it is to members only. You have to give them your email address. This is a great article to scroll down and take a look at things. And what I'm going, that helps me do a lot of my research. I'll sort by K percentage, and I'll start looking at a lot of these guys. It's a quick way to do it. I do use our research station an awful lot, but this is another way to go through the same thing. One of the key stats that I do use is I'm looking for offenses that are double blue, right-handed, left-handed bats. Those are who you're going to see me feature most times in the Chin Music article, and that's the fastest place I've found. So I thank Notorious for always letting me use this article. I've asked him personally a couple of times, and he said, sure, I love it. I love the promotion. So what I do is I go to the starting lineups page as well until ours loads on DFSArmy.com, and I'm looking for the early only slate. What I want to find is the starting times. I want to go all the way down to the last game. And now that I know that the last starting time is 2:20, I'm going to use that in the research station to really kick this thing into gear. I'm looking for green, yellow weather. Okay, a little bit of yellow here as the game wears on. Rain chances increase in Philadelphia. That should be long enough into the game at a 12:30 start that the pitchers are gone. So if you want to use Bueller or Arrieta, I would say it's a little bit of a gamble, but it's really pretty safe. Same thing in New York, but the rain chances are not anywhere near 50%. These pitchers are both safe. I don't think we have any weather concerns to worry about today. Yeah, you could technically start looking for wind blowing out, humidity, all those sorts of things, but that's up to you as to how much weight you want to give that when you're looking at your lineups and looking at the bats you want to target. I'd rather target a crappy pitcher than wind blowing out. That's just me. So when I go into the research station over here, I go to the starting pitchers tab, and I'm going to knock off all of the games that start after 2:20. I hold the control button down for you VIPs, and I just go clicking them all blue. That's got my early slate right there locked up for me nice and quickly. I'm going to pull all of the DFSA grades to the top. It's already sorted by default. I'm going to see Clayton Richards way up there. I'm going to see Trevor Bauer, Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals is way up there. But what I'm really looking at, and I'll come back to that in a minute, is I'm looking for the low DFSA grades down here. This is a proprietary tool, VIP only. If you're watching this and you're public streaming, this should be one area where you should consider becoming a VIP, because look at all of the stats that I'm offering you, from Vegas lines to run totals to right-handed, left-handed. Everything you've got is all in here for you to look at. And I'm noticing here the minus 172 on Trevor Bauer. That's going to be an important number as well. So let's jump, and price points. Let's jump over to the First Look article, because this is where I tend to, my eyes are geared towards this. I sort by K percentage. I'm looking for anything 220 and earlier. Top 3 K percentage pitchers are on that early slate. Freddie Peralta minus 123, Trevor Bauer 170, Robbie Ray plus 125. I'm looking for big Vegas favorites, big K percentages, and then I'm looking for lowest price that makes sense. So when I come down here, Jack Flaherty on the list. Down here, Walker Bueller on the list. I'm not seeing any big Vegas numbers though, so I'm starting to really lean towards Trevor Bauer myself. Bauer's going to be expensive, so we're going to try and usually find a cheaper option that we can go with as well. Scroll down here. Now we're getting a little bit lower with Eovaldi plus 140. Don't like it. Plus 170. Don't like it. Plus 113. I don't usually need to look down here too far, because here's what I'm getting at. My K percentage is eroding. As my K percentage erodes, my K score goes down. I'm looking for double blue, and a lot of occasions, like watch, Charlie Morton will have a good K score if you add it up later tonight. Not a lot of double blue, but blue green, green, you know, sometimes blue yellow, if it's high enough, will help you get that K score up over that 500. If you don't know what that is, K score is simply K percentage plus op K percentage added together, remove the decimal point. So 34.5 for Freddie Peralta, 21.1 for opponents for the Nationals, and we're looking at a 5, 5, 6. 55.6 is 556 on the K-score. That's a monster K-score. At 8,400 and being a favorite in Vegas, I like him already. I don't look at much else. I don't need to look at much else. Okay? I've probably got my cheap pitcher. Now I'm going to verify. I'm going to go down and look and make sure. And see, why wouldn't I take Robbie Ray? Robbie Ray's got a 520, 530 K-score. Well, first of all, 550 is higher than 530. He's got a little more ceiling. He's also a dog. I want the favorite, not the dog. Yeah, the $1,200 is nice, but the $1,200 to me doesn't make up for the fact that he's an underdog and he has a lower K-score. If he's cheaper, I would like to ideally see something a lot closer. Because if it's closer in K-score and closer in the Vegas odds, which you could argue those really aren't that big of a difference, so maybe the savings means something to you. To me, it just doesn't yet. But when I see it, I will use price as a tiebreak. When I see a cheaper guy, he'd better be a good bit better than some of these other guys on the slate in order to get me to spend down and give up the security of that cheaper price. Sometimes, I guess it depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes he doesn't always have to be better. You're not going to get better than Trevor Bauer. But that's also why he's your cash game pitcher today. 31.3, 19.3 makes that a 4.0506. 506 minus 170. But for okay, now we got a debate. 506 versus 550. A minus 170 versus a minus 123. So where he's lower in K-score, he's higher in Vegas odds, but he's also going to cost you $3,000 more. I think I probably would go Freddie Peralta. But when I talk to the VIPs inside the Army, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for hybrid type lineups, not exactly a cash safe lineup that's completely cash safe. Cash safe, your pitcher's probably Trevor Bauer. You just close your eyes to about everything else. However, I can justify Freddie Peralta using these parameters. Now I can afford some bats, and that might get my overall score up when it comes to the overall DFS score, even in the cash games. So it's a legit debate today that you're looking for. When you look at Flaherty's 7,400 is a little cheaper, so you probably would prefer him over Robbie Ray, being that the K score is very comparable at 500 right on the nose. Minus 115 versus the dog, and only a $200 difference. So I'd probably take Flaherty over Robbie Ray. But that cheap price isn't gonna, that $1,000 for the monster 550 K score and the favorite of the minus 123 is probably where I'm going. Up top, I would probably take Freddie Peralta over Jack Flaherty. It's not even really that close. The real debate is here. And so, if you wanted to build two lineups, run Trevor Bauer in 70% of your action today and put Freddie Peralta in the other 30% as a hedge. Or go 50-50, whatever. There's just so many things we talk about inside DFS Army all the time that we're trying to get everybody's head screwed up, just so you know the options. Ultimately, it's going to be your decision, all right? So let's get back into the speed of the things, because I've already found Freddie and Trevor, maybe a little Jack Flaherty. I don't need to look at anybody else. They're just not going to be better. Walker Buehler of 5'10", 78. Okay, sorry I lied. But anyway, you got a couple of these guys. I still like the 550 over the 5'10". I don't mind the $600. I like the odds are about the same. And now if I look even a little bit deeper, I can go with the ERA and the Sierra. Buehler's a little bit higher. Philadelphia, I might look at opposing batting averages. See, because it's getting that close to splitting hairs. When you get to where you look at this stuff every day, all day long, you can see these things coming. You can see where your debates are going to be. I'd probably still opt for Freddie Peralta. Now, I might take a Buehler over a Trevor Bauer. Bauer's just a little bit too expensive for what I might get out of those guys. If I ran 50% Buehler, 50% Peralta, they're not going to both have a bad day. I can take on the Trevor Bauer lineups, hopefully with some better bats in that situation. But I'm more of a hybrid builder. I try to build for 20-man leagues, 100-man leagues, small GPPs, things like that, in which case I need to think about things like this. How can I get better bats, or how can I get into better stacking offenses types of situations? Now that we've got a few pitchers knocked out, let's take a quick peek at the bottom rung pitchers down here, under a 40, under a 50. These bottom three pitchers for sure, maybe that fourth one up. These are the offenses I'm looking at. Romano, Arrieta, Taillon. I don't like picking on Taillon. Sessa, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, LA, St. Louis. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, LA, St. Louis. Those are the names you need to write down, because what we're going to do is we're going to kick over to, I don't look at anything else. I don't need to look at anything else. I run all the way over to the Trends tab, and I'm focused on this category here, this section of WOBA. This is your season-long WOBAs, their 14-day WOBAs, and your 7-day WOBAs. You can argue about all-star break all you want. This is what I'm doing. I take the season-long numbers and use them as my baseline because these numbers are piling in more, getting more and more stable as the season wears on. This is about where these guys are going to be. Okay? I'm looking at the last 14 days. I would like to see that over the last 7 days. I look at Matt Carpenter's WOBA 14 is well over his season high. I look at the last 7 days and want to see it even higher than the 14 to see the guy trending upwards in all 3 categories. When he does that, he's hot. Carpenter's cooled off a good bit over the past couple of days, but he's still running pretty hot. He is still probably playable. Okay? Especially given that St. Louis is an offense we just wrote down that we'd like to target because we're targeting Sal Romano. So when I look here at the 380 and the 250 and the 165, that's trending the opposite way, Nelson Cruz. I don't care what your DFSA grade is, you're hitting the ball like shit. See what I'm saying? He will come back. You can bank on the regression. It will happen eventually, but on a 7-day sample size, I'll see it in about 2 or 3 days. If he has a couple of hot days, I don't mind missing those if he's going to sustain himself for a week or 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run down through Tampa Bay, Cleveland, LA, and St. Louis. And I'm going to take out the fluff. I don't even want him on my list. Why look at Nelson Cruz? He's not going to make my team. Let's say I go to 375 and I just want to pick from the hot batters. I'll sort that column by 375, kick all those turds out of it. I'll watch a little bit of the plate appearances. And for a true value number, you can take the salaries on DK or FD on Fanduel, and you can drop it all the way down under 3,000 and only pull guys up like Jonathan Lucroy, who's hot right now. Did you know that? All right, so Tampa Bay. And this is with a lot of talking and getting off the rails, and we're still only 10 minutes into the slate. Only 2 guys worth playing, in my opinion, on Tampa Bay. Gomez and Robertson. Yeah, others might have good days, but good luck. You're taking a little bit more of a chance by predicting them. And these guys could have bad days, but odds are they're going to run hot. They're looking pretty good. See, up, up, down a little, so he may be cooling off, but up, up, up. Well, down a little bit and then up. But anyway, you can see what I'm looking for as I'm looking for it, and they're dirt cheap. You're not taking a lot of risk. So I would write them down. Gomez and Robertson. Those are the guys I'd be playing. If I wanted to complete a stack of some kind, then maybe I would consider a couple other guys. But these are the indicators I'm looking for right here. So now we go to Cleveland. There's a whole booty load of these guys. Look at them all running hot, hot, hot. Now, I wouldn't really worry about these guys as much, but what I'm watching for is Cabrera, Diaz, Geyer, Davis, Gonzalez, these types of guys to get a spot start. If they get a spot start, they're going to be cheap. I'm throwing them in there because they're in a great offensive spot. But the ones I'm really focused on are Alonso, Lindor, Encarnacion, and Ramirez. These guys are all ripping the cover off the ball right now. Not so much Lindor. He's cooling off a little bit. You see his number back down towards his season number? He's not raging like an Encarnacion. Ramirez might be headed down off of his 2-week numbers. Still playable. Anything over 400 is great. So those are the 4 guys I'd consider a 4-stack if it wasn't so expensive. So when I look at the LA, I believe it was the Dodgers, was it not? Peterson, Grandal, and Kemp. Is Grandal hot or what? Look, his numbers reflect it. He's nearly a 600 on the last 5 days. 340, 550, 596. Up, up, up. So he's definitely ascending. His trajectory's headed in the right direction. So is Matt Kemp's again. Matt Kemp was cold for a while, but his is coming up. And so is Jock Peterson's. It's a great 3-stack for you today, and it's affordable. Run down into St. Louis. Carpenter, Pham, Molina, Munoz, and Bader if they get starts. These 2 have relegated down to bench roles. So your main 3, Molina, Pham, and Carpenter. Molina not so much at a 388, but he's playable if you wanted to run a stack. Carpenter and Pham are probably playable. Now, does this guarantee they're going to have a good day? No. But what it's done is it has done exactly what I tried to do with you in Chin Music. You pick a couple of great pitchers. Then you look at the bad pitchers. And you target against them with offenses as a whole. Then you dig into those offenses as a whole, and you find the hot bats inside it and focus on those. Now, can you run a one-off of Marcell Ozuna? Sure. As long as your core consists of Pham, Carpenter, Molina, Encarnacion, Ramirez, Lindor, Gomez, some of the other guys that we mentioned, Peterson, Grandal. As long as those guys are your basic core today, 5, 6, 7 of those guys should have pretty good days because they're all running hot. One or two might disappoint, one or two might have a monster day, and that's going to make or break you today. It's that simple. And yes, just like everything, we're hitting a round ball with a round bat, and a guy's basically throwing at 97 at your head. Honestly, the game is hard. It's full of volatility. It's full of variance. If you want coaching on how to handle the variance with baseball and still be a cheery, upbeat guy like me instead of standing on a bridge ready to jump, you need to become a VIP, jump in DFS Army, and let us talk to you. Let us set your expectations right. Let us put a bankroll management plan in place for you. A budget. Something that you can rely on day in, day out, day in, day out, gives you the best shot. Goal number 1, never redeposit again. Goal number 2, become a winning player. Goal number 3, maybe pay some bills someday. Goal number 4, become a legend. But you can't just automatically think you're going to plug in $2, get handed a lineup, and go win $10,000. It doesn't work that way. You have to build the experience, build the fundamentals, and get used to the variance and get used to all these fundamentals that we talk about inside DFS Army. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, check out the comment section, find that link, become a VIP today. Let's start talking. I'm a coach and contributor. I'm actually content editor inside DFSArmy.com. Come talk to me. I'd be happy to spend as much time as I need to get your mind right. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.